What is up, YouTube? So this is your boy monyane. Thanks so much for tuning in. And in today's video, we're gonna be doing a little bit of explanation. So I'm gonna be doing an explanation on one of my paintings, Parable of the Old Man. This is one painting that I really love, man. It's gotten quite a bit of attention. It's gotten quite a bit of attention. English. But yeah, so today I'm gonna be explaining this, and yeah, man, stay tuned. It's about to be dope. So, Parable of the Old Man. This painting was born on November the 28th, 2021. That's when I started this painting. The reason why I can remember so well is because I got this canvas as a birthday gift, and immediately when I got it, I started creating. Same time, I didn't waste any time, and yeah, man, it was really awesome. Those little blue pieces on there are made of ceiling. The way I made them was I started painting on ceiling first, and then I sketched a few smiles on it. And yeah, man, those broken smiles actually have a long history. I just enjoy, creating such paintings. I have a history of making paintings with smiles in them. For example, the spirit of Mufutaki, and also another one of my drawings. I know that sounded really weird, but yeah. So, Parable of the Old Man. The inspiration behind the story was actually one of the leaders in the philosophy of mind science. There's two people who I really admire a lot in terms of mind science, and how you change your mind and how that changes your life, and that type of philosophy. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Before I get into the story, though, I just have to point out, these little pieces of ceiling, man. It was one huge painting, and I should have taken a picture of it because it was really phenomenal. I don't know why I didn't do that, but yeah, man, it takes me back, man. It really takes me back. Okay, so the sun in this painting represents the light of truth, which is that we all have control over the direction in which we allow our thoughts to go. We have control over this so-called voice in our head, right? And sometimes we have conversations in our mind that are not necessarily constructive. However, we do still have control over that voice in our mind, and that's what the sun represents, that truth. The truth is we have control over our mind. That's the first thing. And the sun in this painting makes those shadows that are sitting on top of the roof. Those shadows are fading away because of this light of truth, which is that we have control over our minds. So these shadows represent negative and destructive emotions, right? But where does this begin? This begins in the mind. That very same voice in your head is always talking. It's always yapping and yapping away, right? But now, sometimes when you have negative conversations in your mind, that can have an effect on your emotions, and that also has an effect on how you act and interact with other individuals on a daily basis, right? So we now know that the voice in your mind controls pretty much how you live life, because if it controls your emotions, it controls your personality and how you present yourself to the world and all those things. So those shadows really have an influence on an individual to some degree. And the main question is, how do we fight that? How do you take away these negative emotions and negative ways of negative states of being, rather? And my solution to that problem is by changing the conversation. Positive self-image psychology really goes a long, long way. You have to understand that successful people think in a certain way, and they owe most of their riches to the way that they think. The way that they think influences their actions, and influences the way they handle things. It's like in certain situations, right, that, for example, don't support your view or don't support what you are trying to communicate. There's a way of, handling criticism, or not just criticism, but simply situations that don't support you. And the way to handle that is to understand that you have to persist in the assumption, which is that light of truth. You have to persist in that understanding that you are the one who controls how you perceive things, how you take in things, how you choose to feel about things, and how you choose to feel about certain situations and circumstances. But now, with the shadows, they always seem to, follow you. It's like, your doubt will always come and, have these little traps or temptations, and such like. But the main thing is to persist in looking towards the light, which is that you do have control over your mind. You do have control over these voices. And so you control your thinking to the point where you don't allow these shadows to follow you. And that's what I feel, to be enlightened is, that's just my personal view on it. But yeah, man, that's the relationship between the sun and the shadows. So the sun represents the truth, which is you have control over your mind, and the shadows represents your doubts, fears, all these negative emotions that most of us don't really want to deal with. Life's just better that way, I guess. The little drawing, okay, not yeah, the little drawing is actually called Millie, which is a nickname that I've established for the drawing. The drawing Millie also has its own history to it. As a matter of fact, Millie is derived from one of my paintings, Forbidden Soul. Forbidden Soul speaks about meditation, hence there's no mouth. That represents silence. When it's silent, you get to think. And this whole portrait, the whole painting, is representing a place in the mind, and that place is imagination. So yeah, that's why I added that drawing there. It's just to represent the fact that all of this is happening in the mind, and the drawing without the mouth represents silence. And I think silence is also important every now and again, so that you can just sit with your thoughts and understand life pretty much. So yeah, that's what that drawing represents. The reason why I used ceiling is to represent manifestations, and how things go from your imagination into solid reality. It's just to put emphasis on solid reality. So the feeling that Millie is having while he is thinking is a feeling of happiness, and that happiness manifests into solid reality. So that's just what the point is trying to elaborate on there. And so, in conclusion, the reason why I named it Parable of the Old Man is because a very good book suggests that we should put off a former conversation, which is the old man who is corrupt, right? And we should put on a new man, which I guess is not corrupt. So yeah, thank you for making it this far, and yeah, man, thank you. Oh, by the way, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Yeah, just felt it was cool to say that because all the YouTubers always say that. So I'm gonna say it too now. Hit the like and sub. I've been seeing in the streets. I don't know, bro. Like really weird people, really people doing weird bad. But nonetheless, though, yeah, man, shit's going good. Life is great at the moment. I'm not gonna lie, life is wonderful, man. There's a whole lot of dope stuff that I'm up to these days. Recently, there's some things that I have to talk about, especially on my channel. Do that, and yeah, man, you're gonna see a whole lot of videos soon. So stay tuned, man. The boy's working.